Hello, this is Noah. Thank you for joining me. And I have a thought and a warning to share with you guys that God has delivered you, so why are you letting the devil make the treaty with you? And we're going to be reading from 1 Kings chapter 20 for the majority of this devotion. And about that time, starting in verse 1, King Ben-Hadad mobilized his army, supported by the chariots and horses of 32 allied kings. They went to besiege Samaria, the capital of Israel, and launched attacks against it. Ben-Hadad sent messengers into the city to relay this message to King Ahab of Israel. This is what Ben-Hadad says: "Your silver and gold are mine, and so are your wives and the best of your children." "All right, my lord the king," Israel's king replied. "All that I have is yours." And that is an amazing response, and it speaks to me of a lukewarm Christian, a lukewarm congregation and church that just says, all right, as long as it's happening on the other side of the hill, as long as it's a big city issue, as long as it's not costing me something that I hold valuable, meh is the response. Soon Ben-Hadad's messengers returned again and said, "This is what Ben-Hadad says: I have already demanded that you give me your silver, gold, wives, and children. But about this time tomorrow I will send my officials to search your palace and your homes of your officials. They will take away everything you consider valuable." Then Ahab summoned all the elders of the land and said to them, "Look how this man is stirring up trouble. I already agreed with his demand that I give him my wives, children, silver, and gold. Don't give in to any more demands," all the elders and people advised. So finally, Ahab's not only waking up, but he's finally getting out of bed too. So Ahab told the messengers from Ben-Hadad, "Say this to my lord the king: I will give you everything you asked for the first time, but I cannot accept this last demand of yours." So the messengers returned to Ben-Hadad with that response. Then Ben-Hadad sent this message to Ahab: "May the gods strike me and even kill me if there remains enough dust from Samaria to provide even a handful for each of my soldiers." The king of Israel sent back this answer: "A warrior putting on his sword for battle should not boast like a warrior who has already won." And Ahab's reply reached Ben-Hadad and the other kings, and they were drinking in their tents and said, "Prepare to attack." Verse 13, Then a certain prophet came to King Ahab of Israel and told him, "This is what the Lord says: Do you see all these enemy forces? Today I will hand them over to you. Then you will know that I am the Lord." And God has moved heaven and earth for you and I, and he has made great deliverances when the enemies come in like a flood and is way too strong for us and confronts us in our time of distress. God hands them over and proves himself to you and to I and to those around us that he is the Lord. And Ahab asks, "How will he do it?" The prophet replied, "This is what the Lord says: The troops of the provincial commanders will do it." "Should we attack first?" Ahab asked. "Yes," the prophet answered. So Ahab mustered the troops, and God did an amazing victory and just pushed back the Syrians, pushed back Ben-Hadad, and defeated them. In verse 22, it says, "Afterward, the prophet said to King Ahab, 'Get ready for another attack. Begin making plans now, for the king of Syria will come back next spring.'" And you and I can almost set our watch to it, that at the moment of opportune time, the enemy will come back and try to ensnare us, try to look to see the holes in the fences and destroy you and I's testimony. And we are called to be ready to make preparations. Verse 23, After their defeat, Ben-Hadad's officers said to him, "The Israelite gods are the gods of the hills. That is why they won. But we can beat them easily on the plains. Only this time replace the kings with field commanders." But God is the God not only of the hills, he is the God of the valleys. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So the Lord remains the same. He is consistent. He cannot change. So whether you're on top of the mountain or the mountain's on top of you, God is God, and there is only one Lord. Verse 28, the man of God went to the king of Israel and said, "This is what the Lord says. The Syrians have said, 'The Lord is a God of the hills and not of the plains.' So I will defeat this vast army for you. Then you will know that I am the Lord." And the Lord is coming back again. And why does God continually give us second chances? Why does the Lord continually do these things? It's for you and I to know that he is the Lord. It is for a testimony to those around us. And it's also, God is not mocked. When the enemy comes in, the Lord hears it, he sees it, and he is our defender. The two armies encamped opposite of each other for 7 days, and on the seventh day the battle began. The Israelites killed 100,000 Syrian foot soldiers in one day. The rest fled into the town of Aphek, but the wall fell on them and killed another 27,000. Ben-Hadad fled into the town and hid in the secret room. Ben-Hadad's officers said to him, "Sir, we have heard that the kings of Israel are merciful. So let us humble ourselves by wearing burlap around our waists and putting ropes on our heads and surrender to the king of Israel. Then perhaps he will let you live." And so the enemy, Satan, is a defeated foe, but he has tricks, and he comes to people and gets this false compassion and mercy and tries to trick people as if we get spiritual amnesia and completely forget that he has one mission, and that's to seek, to kill, and destroy our lives. If you read again the beginning of chapter 20, Ahab was clearly seen what Ben-Hadad's intentions were to him, that he wanted to destroy him, take everything from the nation of Israel, and the enemy is coming again like a flood to you and I and coming to America, and the Lord has spared us time and time again, and even our president has been spared. I can't think of how many congregations have been spared. Denominations, though, are still somehow getting together, and again, I don't know if it's pride and just spiritual amnesia, but it's like they choose to forget who and what their enemy is and what he wants to do to us, and tries to get us to have this ridiculous compassion. We don't wrestle between flesh and blood, but of rulers and principalities in dark places. Verse 32, so they put on burlap and ropes, and they went to the king of Israel and begged, "Your servant Ben-Hadad says, please let me live." The king of Israel responded, "Is he still alive? He is my brother." And it is appalling to think how quickly he forgot and calls this man who wanted to destroy his life and destroy the nation, "He is my brother." Verse 33, the men took this as a good sign and quickly picked up on his words. "Yes," they said, "your brother Ben-Hadad." "Go and get him," the king of Israel told them. And when Ben-Hadad arrived, Ahab invited him up into his chariot. And what are you inviting into your chariot? Are you just inviting this chaos after the Lord has set you free, after the Lord has delivered you time and time again? Ben-Hadad told him, "I will give back the towns my father took from your father, and you may establish places of trade in Damascus as my father did in Samaria." Then Ahab said, "I will release you under these conditions." So they made a new treaty, and Ben-Hadad was set free. And this truly led to Ahab's demise. But how many Christians are like this? You invite this chaos back into your life, this chaos back in your home. Ministers allow this chaos into their congregations or denomination, and the enemy is the one who is setting the terms of the treaty. There was no pushback, there was no dialogue. It is horrible and appalling to read this. And the man of God comes to him. I encourage you to read the rest of this chapter. And the wages of sin equal death, so get out before payday. But what are you and I to do after the Lord has done his deliverance, after the Lord has given us an amazing victory? You are not to let this chaos back into your chariot, but to destroy the works of the enemy. Psalm 18, it says, "He teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms." And that's starting in verse 34. "You have also given me the shield of your salvation, and your right hand has held me up. Your gentleness has made me great. You have enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn again until they were consumed. You have wounded them that were not able to rise. They were fallen under my feet. For you have girded me with strength to the battle. You have subdued under me those that rose up against me. You have given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them, even to the Lord, but he answered them not. Then I beat them as small as dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets." Cast that out as dirt in the streets. Grind them. The Lord is giving you the strength for the battle. He is placing your enemies under your feet. Do not turn your back on it, but grind it as small as dust. If the Lord's delivered you from lust, do not allow some pornographic nonsense back in your home. If the Lord's healed your marriage, if the Lord's healed you physically, if the Lord set your congregation free from greed, from division, why would you allow this chaos back into your home and just lift these things back into your chariot and call it your brother when it is meant solely to kill, steal, and destroy? And I'm praying for you guys and go to the Lord with this, and I'm asking God to search my own heart. God, is there anything that I'm allowing back into my life that you've delivered me from? And now it's trying to set the terms of agreement and set the pace forward. When the Lord is saying, do not turn your back on these things, do not bring them back in your life, but destroy it, grind it as fine as dust. And the Lord is promising us, He is giving us strength for the battle. And it's Him. It is the Lord that puts our enemies under our feet, and it's the Lord that delivers us. So I'm praying for you guys. Until next time.